Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, we come to the headliner of the show. You ready?
Yeah!
You ready?
Yeah!
Alright, we're going to bring him up. So he's had 2 sold out shows at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival, the best comedy festival. So please welcome to the stage, first time here in Tokyo, it's Perri Cassie! There he is! Tokyo, what's up? It's good to be here. Yeah, that's where I'm from. Exactly right. So it's very good to be here. I love stand-up comedy. I love performing stand-up comedy. I love to watch stand-up comedy. That's one of my favorite things. I took a break from comedy for a while at the start of the year, and I was at a gig. It was pretty similar to this. It was a bar show, and there's this comedian on stage, and she was telling some jokes, and she had this throwaway line in one of her jokes where she goes, "Because women never get to come." Right? It's this little throwaway line. She throws it out into the audience, gets a big laugh, right? It ripples all the way through the audience. They loved it. Most of the women, the men didn't love it so much. But she's telling this bit, and where I'm sitting at the back of the bar, right, I'm sitting next to a couple. So there's the guy, there's boyfriend, and then in front of him is the girlfriend. And the girlfriend is laughing so hard at this joke that it visibly makes the boyfriend uncomfortable. So he's kind of just sitting there awkwardly and he doesn't know what to do, so he sort of just like leans in and rubs her shoulder. And she just like keeps laughing, gives him nothing. So he sort of sits back and assesses again. He goes in for the second time to rub her shoulder, still gets nothing, sits back, goes to lean in for the third time. I was like, mate, I don't think the clit's there either, to be honest. Maybe give it another crack, I don't know. I was reading this really good article online the other day. It was how to get your best summer vagina. Yeah, I thought they were year-round, to be honest, but I don't know what a summer vagina. I don't know if any of you know what it is. What is it? Did you just put like a wedge alignment at like a Corona, or I don't know. It was confusing. I didn't read the article. I didn't want to because it was in Teen Vogue, which is quite confronting. I think it's quite upsetting. Like, because that's obviously it's like marketed at like 15, 16-year-old girls, and as if like they don't have enough on their plate. Without having to be like, oh, my body's going through all these changes, I've got exams next week and I haven't studied, the big dance is the week after that and Jonathan hasn't asked me yet. Also, my pussy's out of season, so that's no good. Don't worry guys, I am an equal opportunity guy. I have been working on my summer penis, which is just my regular penis with a cocktail umbrella in the top of it. So, stick around, maybe I'll get it out. No, no good. I am from Australia, but I'm originally from the UK. Anyone from the UK here tonight? You can't tell my accent has faded over time. I've been in Australia for about 20 years, so it has faded, but I still find myself saying typically British things from time to time. So I still find myself saying, I say things like yogurt, right? I say things like vitamin. Yeah. I say things like, all of that land that was yours now belongs to me. Things like that. Just come up. It is good to be here in Tokyo. I do love to travel. It was a bit of a surprise trip coming here, so I had to brush up real quick. I was trying to read a lot of articles online. I was reading this really good article online by BuzzFeed. It was 20 places to visit before you die. It's pretty interesting. 20 places to visit before you die. Not one of them was a hospital. Same position than the Tokyo Tower, I guess. I don't know. I just came back from Shanghai, though. I went to China. Has anyone been to China before? Yeah. Has anyone heard of China before? It's a pretty big country. I went to Shanghai. It was a cool city. It was kind of, I find it like similar to Melbourne in a lot of ways, but obviously a lot more Chinese people in Melbourne. They're all there. I don't know what they're doing, but they're there. It's fine. I'm okay with it. It was good. I went to China. I got a really good I got a good deal on the flight, which was nice. I love a good deal on a flight, but sometimes, I don't know if you guys have this, but sometimes flight deals can be too good. Like, they make me uncomfortable. Like, I got an email the other day from an airline that was like, how would you like to return fly home for $1? No. I wouldn't. I don't know what corners you've cut to make that possible. Being honest, how about I give you $50 and you just make sure there's 2 wings and a co-pilot, you know, like enough fuel to get us there. How much was that Malaysia flight? I'll pay twice that amount. Just guarantee you'll find the plane. I can lose some audiences with that joke. Fortunately, I can find them again. So I love China. China was good. It was. I didn't know what to expect of China. It's a big communist country. It was very unknown to me. I hadn't actually been to Asia before. And it was more forward thinking than I thought it was going to be. So one of the things they weren't really up on was like they weren't really big on like gender politics and stuff like that. They were really into like pronouns and all that kind of thing. Like we're big on that back home. I don't know if you guys are here, but they weren't really like they're not really into like the whole transgender thing. They don't even do like gender reveal parties for their kids because basically over there it's either a boy or it's a funeral. Or so it has been told to me. I had a good flight home. I watched this movie on the plane called Call Me By Your Name. Has anyone watched that before?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange movie. There's a scene in the movie that was quite confronting to me. It still confuses me to this day. Basically, what happens is there's a guy. It's like a gay romance movie, and to prove how gay they are, one of the guys comes on a peach, and he's like, "That's how gay I am." And then the second guy eats the peach, and he's like, "That's how gay I am." And I was like, you know what would be way gayer than that? If you just fucked. Like, why are you wasting a peach? I grew up with a lazy eye, which is no good. Fortunately, the doctors couldn't do anything, so it spread to the rest of my body and personality. Not a good time. If you don't know what a lazy eye is, it's basically when you can see two people bullying you in two different directions at once. So that's pretty good. I had to wear an eye patch for the first 4 years of primary school though, and it was quite bad for my self-esteem. So my mum used to try and she's trying to pet me up. She'd say, it's cute. You look like a pirate, like a cute little pirate. And I was like, I don't really feel like a pirate. I don't know how many pirates Piers Scammell would feel comfortable calling a Cyclops homo as he tried to mount the monkey bars, you know? I say try to mount the monkey bars. Obviously, I couldn't mount the monkey bars because I had an eye patch and I had no depth perception to reach onto the monkey bars. I have been thinking a lot about how bored I am in life. Not here. Here's fine. It's almost over. I have this new thing that I like to do whenever I'm bored. Whenever I'm out in public and something vaguely upsets me, I like to very loudly and very sadly go, "Oh no, not on my birthday." Like it's like a thing I like to do. I don't know, maybe you guys have hobbies. I don't know. That's what I like to do. So like I was at a shop the other day, and I was buying a baguette because I'm crushing it. And I was walking around the shopping center with this baguette in my basket, and I was walking around, and a guy walked past me and he accidentally knocked my basket, and the baguette fell on the floor, right? And he was just going to keep walking, he didn't give a shit, right? And I just looked at the baguette for a second, and I was like, oh no, not on my birthday. And then this guy just turned back, and he was like, I'm so sorry about that. He picked up the baguette, and he put it in my basket, and I was like, what is this power? Alright, and I love that kind of stuff, you know, I like to mess with people on just like a little level. Like I was at the shops the other day, I was walking through and there was a guy giving out free samples of cat food. And he goes, you want a free sample of cat food? I was like, sure, give me that. So I took the cat food and I look at it back and forth and he goes, what kind of cat do you have? And I was like, what? He's like, well, is it your cat? And I was like, I don't have a cat. And he's like, is it for a friend's cat? And I was like, it's payday today, I haven't got paid yet, so this is for lunch. And he's like, that's pretty good. And I was like, what? And I just walked off and I just left him there. And that was funny to me because that was like I was going to think about that every day forever. Not damaging, but just something to mess with him psychologically, right? And I carried that throughout the day and I thought that would be the last time I see him. But as I walked out of work, he was there and he was packing up the cat food and I was like, oh man, have you got any more of that cat food? And he's like, no, we're out of cat food. There's just like boxes of cat food behind me. I'm not giving cat food to that guy. And I was like, oh no, not on my birthday. I usually like that joke to go a little bit better, especially today would have been nice. Bunch of airball days. I just started dating again, and I didn't really like it. It's not a good time. I've had some bad experiences. I'm not really good with like reading people. And I was going out with this girl, and it seemed like we were having a good time, right? We had a good back and forth through text, but whenever we'd hang out in person, it would be kind of like awkward and kind of stilted and stuff like that. And I got to like a third or fourth date, and I was like, hey, I gotta know, you don't seem to be enjoying yourself. You don't have to be here if you don't want to be. Like, are you into this? And she's like, yeah, I am. And I was like, you just seem like you don't want to be here. And she's like, no, like, I got to tell you something. I was like, what is it? And she goes, I actually suffer from high functioning autism, which is why I'm a bit antisocial in person. And I was like, well, that's not a big deal. Like, I don't know why you just didn't tell me that. Like, that would have been fine. I didn't even notice, to be honest. And she goes, well, I just didn't want you to be self-conscious. And I was like, what do you mean? And she goes, you know, about your autism. And I was like, I don't have autism. And she's like, really? Are you sure? And I was like, well, not anymore, no. She broke up with me after that. Turns out I'm pretty fucking charming if you think I have a mental disability, but take that away from me, just kind of weird. So, strap in for the rest of the sets. I did manage to find myself a girlfriend. She does work with kids with autism. That's just a fun little add-on. I love my girlfriend, she's great, but she does have this really bad habit where she backseat drives. Does anyone here a backseat driver? Does everyone know what that is?
Yes.
Yeah, alright. It's basically, if you don't know what it is, it's just when someone gives you instructions while they're sitting in the passenger seat. It's very annoying. So we're driving along, and she'll be like, a 60 sign will come up, and she'll be like, it's 60 kilometers here, you know? I'm like, great, thank you. And she's like, there's a car coming up. I'm like, yep, great, I know. She's like, you should put your indicator on soon. I'll be like, that's great. She'll be like, there's a stop sign, you should probably stop at that. I'm like, cool. I reckon if I said, I'm gonna drive us off a fucking bridge, she'd be like, you probably want to get in the left lane. So, it's gonna kill us both. Just a round of applause if you like to masturbate. That's good. Some of you didn't. That's fine. I got some tips for you. I got this. You can take this home with you if you like, Tokyo. Someone told me this the other day. I didn't know this. Did you guys know if you sit on your hand long enough before you masturbate, it'll feel like someone else? Which I think is why my ex-girlfriend always wanted to sit on my face. I was sleeping with a girl recently, thank you. And we're about halfway through, so about 3 minutes in. And I'm a nice guy, right? I want to make sure that she's having a good time. I want to make sure that she's having fun. So I was like, hey, is this like good for you? And she's like, yeah, it's all right. But I could really use a cigarette, which is not a good feeling if I'm being honest, guys. When you're inside of someone, you're like, hey, is this like good for you? And they're like, yeah, but you know what'd be better? Cancer. Alright, I'm gonna leave you guys on the last bit. That's been awesome. I've been thinking about this a lot. This is a big discussion in my country. I'm sure it is here as well. But a lot of people are talking in my country about toxic masculinity. It's a big thing. They want it to end in my country. They're not really big on it. They want men to be more, open to things emotionally and stuff like that. Side of the big alpha male. And I think that's fair, but they don't know where to stop it, right? They don't know if it's something that we teach like in childhood, it's something that can be learned in later adult life. They don't know, alright? I think one of the things that we really need to look at though, the root of this problem is men's body spray. Not everyone's coming with me on this, but that's fine. Let me explain. I don't know if you've ever looked at men's and women's body spray side by side before, but women's body spray, right, they have names like Summer Breeze, or like Winter Breeze. Or I didn't do that much research with the women's ones, but men's body spray, right? They have the most fucking toxic masculine names on the planet. Like, so these are some that I use. You guys have Axe here, right? Yeah. So Axe is, if you don't know what it is, it's just a brand of deodorant. It's linked in some countries. Bit of backstory and capitalism there for you, but it's basically these are some of the ones that I've used recently by Axe, right? We've got Adrenaline. We've got Anarchy. This is one by Adidas. It's my personal favorite. Force. Force. I don't know if you can do that. I don't think you can have a fragrance for assault. Like, I don't know if that's okay. And like the thing with these products, right, is they're marketed to men. They're like attributes that women would want, that women would never want, right? So I was watching this ad online, and all the ads are like this. They're never different. It was like this ad online. It was for Axe, and basically there's this burning apartment building. And this fireman pulls up in his fire truck, he gets out of the fire truck, he covers himself in this body spray, right? And he runs straight into this burning building, he grabs a beautiful woman, pulls her out, saves her. And because he put this body spray on, he didn't perspire, So they gave him the confidence, and apparently the self-entitlement to just grab this woman and start making out with her. Which is kind of unprofessional, if I'm being honest. Like, he didn't ask if she was okay, didn't ask if she needed medical assistance, didn't even ask if she had a boyfriend, which if she did, dead inside this building right now. He wasn't going back in for him. And the thing is, all the ads are like this, right? They're never any different, you know? The ads are never like a guy and a girl going on a date together. And they pull up at the guy's house at the end of the night in the car, and they're sitting there and he's like, hey, would you like to come in? She goes, yeah. And then it flashes back to earlier in the evening and the guy's getting ready for the date now. He's stepping into the shower, he's singing to himself, he's really excited, he's looking forward to it, right? Then the ad flashes forward, now the couple are in the guy's living room and they're making out, right? They're getting pretty hot and heavy, you know? And then he starts to put his hand on her leg, he starts to slide it up her skirt. And he's like, are you sure you're ready for this? And she's like, yeah. And then he starts fingering her. And then it flashes back to earlier in the evening. And the guy's getting ready for the date again. He's putting on his pants. He wants to put on his best pants for this date. He wants to look nice, right? And then it flashes forward. Now the couple are in the bedroom. They're both naked and she's going down on him, right? And I tell you what, this girl looked innocent, but she can fucking throw neck, right? Like, she can take a dick. You wouldn't think of to look at her, but she can, right? And then it flashes back to earlier in the evening. And the guy's putting on his favorite shirt. He's putting on the best shirt that he has possible. Then it flashes forward again. Now he's going down on her. He's definitely not as good as it, but he puts an effort and she kind of appreciates it. Like, not the same. But, and then it flashes back again, right? The guy's doing his hair, he wants to make sure his hair looks perfect, every single strand. Ad flashes forward. Now they're fucking in the bedroom, he's taking it from behind, he's like, you like that? And she's like, yeah, I fucking love it, right? Flashes back one last time, right? This guy puts the body spray all over his body. Flashes forward one last time, now the couple are in bed, right? They're laying in ecstasy together. The girl rolls into the guy's arms and takes a deep breath in. Consent, the new fragrance by Axe. Like, like that. I've been Perri Cassie, guys, thank you so much.
One more time, everyone. Give it up for Perri Cassie.